Alright, guys. Good Monday afternoon. I was going to take it kind of easy today. Seahawks just wrapped up their bye week. They got some pretty decent results on Sunday. We're going to be watching tonight with great interest, of course. And by the way, I'm going to be on Twitch for most of the Monday night game. So if you want to tune in and we can kind of do a little bit of a watch along while I'm playing probably Soul Hackers, come on by. We'll watch the Cardinals-Niners together, root for the Cardinals, and hope things continue to break our way. Yeah. So I was going to be chill today, but there's a little bit of churn around. I can't even really call it a story. It's not there yet. But people are starting to talk a little bit about this. Getting some people in my stream chats, getting some people in my comment section, getting some people in the Discord. They're starting to churn a little bit about this one. So I got to talk about it for a few minutes, I guess. I'll take one video. I'm going to shut it down. And yes, we are going to shut it down because there is nothing to do about this topic except shut it down. And then we're going to move on from it. So here it is. Handful of days ago, Colin Cowherd on his show said that he believes that the Seattle Seahawks are the perfect fit to trade for Aaron Rodgers in 2023. Basically, Geno Smith's going to be a free agent. We sign and trade him, or he moves on, or whatever we do with Geno Smith, and then we go get Aaron Rodgers. I can make this video very short and just say no. I could just end the video right there. But some people want a little bit more than that, it seems like. I had some people in my stream chat the other day who were like, well, why not? What's wrong with it? Why can't it happen? Why can't it at least be a thing to think about here? Well, I guess we should go through the reasons, just in case some people genuinely don't understand the problems with trading for a guy like an Aaron Rodgers. Because obviously Green Bay's not just going to cut him. He can't just get cut and get sent to the Seahawks. That's not going to happen. Right? So you would have to trade for him. So let's talk about all the issues here, starting with the things that I believe make this impossible, and then we get to the things that make it a bad idea. Because there are two different layers here. There are the things that make this practically impossible to even conceive of, and then there are the reasons why, where even if you could do it, you shouldn't do it, because it's probably not going to work out for you. So we're going to go through both in this video, and then hopefully I don't have to address this very much going forward, because I find the whole thing just a little bit silly, I have to admit. Okay, Aaron Rodgers got a big contract extension in this most recent offseason. It was, I believe, an additional 3 years, $151 million, fully guaranteed. So that contract makes him basically untradeable. So let's look at the exact numbers here. 2023, this would be the year where we theoretically trade for Aaron Rodgers, right? It would have to be a trade, because if the Packers cut him, they're taking on a dead cap hit of about $100 million. That would be by far the biggest cap hit in the history of the NFL. You can crack it open here and see, yeah, they're not releasing him, so they're trading him. If they trade Aaron Rodgers before June 1st, which is pretty much what it would have to be, they will still owe him a dead cap hit of over $40 million. That means they are literally taking an additional cap hit of nearly $9 million to trade him. So it costs them money to trade one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, the greatest quarterback in Packers franchise history, a 4-time MVP, and you're going to pay him to play somewhere else? Yeah, no. So the finances kind of flush this thing right down the toilet, right? Like, why would the Packers pay Rodgers more money than they were going to pay him this year anyway to play for another team within their conference? The only way this works on any level financially would be a post-June 1st trade. If they do that then the dead cap is going to be about $16 million this year and $24.5 million the next year. So they would save a significant amount of money this year and next year. They would still have a lot dead. It would still be the full $40 million dead. It would just be spread out over 2 years. That's at least feasible, but how's this going to work? How are you doing a post-June 1st trade? Post-June 1st, that's after all the waves of free agency. That's after the draft. Are the Seahawks really just going to send Geno somewhere else, not draft a quarterback, and just say, okay, we'll just sit here with no quarterback and expect that we can trade for Rodgers after June 1st? That's probably not a good strategy. That's like what Denver did when they hired Hackett. They just assumed they were getting Rodgers, and then they didn't get Rodgers, and they were like, oh no, we got to get a quarterback. Oh, let's get Wilson. Oh, we just made maybe the worst trade in NFL history because we panicked because we didn't have Aaron Rodgers. So, no, not doing that either. So, the money makes this basically impossible. And even if the Packers were willing to pay Rodgers to play somewhere else, how many draft picks do you think you're going to have to give Green Bay for them to be willing to do that? Because if they're going to be paying him all this money, they're going to want something for it. How many first-round picks are you going to have to give up to convince them, hey, you should give us Aaron Rodgers and you should pay him more money than you were going to pay him this year to play for us? What are we talking here? 8 first-round picks? What's it going to take? We're talking about one of the most legendary players in NFL history here, okay? This is not some hole in the wall. This is Roller Girl, right? If you want Aaron Rodgers, you're going to be paying every bit of a premium for a guy who has won 4 career MVPs, won a Super Bowl MVP, owns some of the greatest quarterback seasons in the history of this league, has won the last 2 league MVPs before this year, by the way, just putting that out there. And you're going to try to just sneak away with him you're going to try to get him cheap when you're asking the Packers to pay him extra to not have him? How many first round picks would it take to get Green Bay to sign off on that? Like, seriously, would it be like 8? Do you want to give up 8 first round picks for 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers? Or he'll be 39, turning 40 next year in December. So, yeah. The finances, the only way this works is if Aaron Rodgers were to agree to completely undo his contract, sign a brand new one that means Green Bay doesn't really owe him anything, and then get traded. And you never see that in the NFL. That's not something that happens. Players don't do that. Pretty much ever. And why would Aaron Rodgers throw away all this guaranteed money that he worked so hard to earn? Like, this extension meant something to him, clearly. Getting paid all this money meant something to him. Why would he throw it all away just so he can go play for another team? So those are the things that makes it impossible. Now let's take a look at some of the things that make it a bad idea, where Aaron Rodgers, one of the most legendary players in the league, is not the legend that he's been for most of his career anymore. This guy's about to turn 39. In a few days, he will be 39 years old. After 2 seasons where he was maybe the best quarterback in the league, look, I'm not saying this is a complete reflection of who he is as a player right now. Obviously, he loses Davante Adams. He's working with a bunch of bleh receivers. He's got pretty bad options to work with. His numbers are down. Completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, interceptions are up. That's the only thing that's up. All of his numbers are down. Why do you want to buy in on a quarterback who is on the downslope of his career when it would cost you tons of draft capital to even get Green Bay to pick up the phone on a Rodgers trade? Okay, now I'll grant you, the money you would owe him would actually be very, very soft because Green Bay's paying him all that money. Sure, but how are you going to get Green Bay to be okay with that? So Rodgers is not playing at that high of a level this year, and I understand there are extenuating circumstances. If he had Lockett, Metcalf, our tight ends, our running game, our offensive line, he might be doing better. He might be doing something close to what he did the last 2 years where he won league MVP and won 13 regular season games or whatever. But do you have confidence that at age 40, he's going to be able to bounce all the way back just because you give him a better supporting cast? Are we trying to pretend that there's no diminishing abilities on the part of an Aaron Rodgers right now? Seems pretty clear to me that something is not going well over there with his abilities as well. It's not just, oh, he doesn't have Davante Adams. Oh, he doesn't have this guy or that guy or the other guy. He needs better receivers. Yeah, okay, sure. That's definitely in play here. But we're seeing things like he's turning the ball over in a way that he hasn't ever really turned the ball over since he was a much younger player. So we have that. You also have the fact that the Packers offense, it's not like they're scoring. I mean, take a look at this. They're near the bottom of the league in scoring. So they're not succeeding on that level either. And by the way, do you think Pete Carroll and Aaron Rodgers would get along? Two very strong, domineering personalities. I don't think so. I don't think that's the kind of quarterback you want to bring into this right now. So that's the best I can do to sum this all up. Packers wouldn't do it. If they would do it, what you would have to give up would not be worth a 40-year-old quarterback who's showing signs of decline. It's silly, okay? Stop listening to what Colin Cowherd says about this stuff. He doesn't know anything. He makes stuff up. We should have learned that Cowherd is, to a certain extent, just somebody who just says stuff. He doesn't really know what's going on. What's going on with Russell Wilson in Denver right now should be kind of proof of that, where he completely bought into this narrative that once Wilson was set free from Carroll, he was going to win MVPs and win Super Bowls. Like, come on. Why are you listening to him after he says something like that? All right, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully this is the last time I got to talk about this Aaron Rodgers to Seattle stuff. And we can talk about things that actually might happen and actually make sense. If this is the route, if you want to get a veteran quarterback, if you want to get somebody who you think is going to take you to a Super Bowl, like an Aaron Rodgers theoretically could, just stick with Geno. Geno's playing better than Rodgers this year. Like, even taking the teammates out of it, he's genuinely playing better. He just is. And he's much younger. All right. Go Hawks. See you guys later tonight on Twitch.